TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello, and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 daily global news update in English. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and here are today's top headlines. Thank you for being with us. News story number one. President Joe Biden is heading to Las Vegas to showcase $8.2 billion in funding for 10 major passenger rail projects across the country, including to spur work on high-speed electric train routes that could one day link Nevada and California, as well as Los Angeles and San Francisco. The Biden administration says the 218-mile train route linking Las Vegas and Rancho Cucamonga, California, about 40 miles, 65 kilometers east of downtown Los Angeles, may one day serve more than 11 million passengers annually. The Biden administration hopes the investment through federal and state partnership programs will help to boost prospects for the long-discussed project, which supporters say could revitalize. Next news. Former President Donald Trump is appealing a ruling that found he is not immune from criminal prosecution as he runs out of opportunities to delay or even derail an upcoming trial on charges that he plotted to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Lawyers for the 2024 Republican presidential primary frontrunner filed a notice of appeal Thursday indicating that they will challenge U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan's decision rejecting Trump's bid to dismiss the case headed to trial in Washington, D.C. in March. The one-page filing, the first step in a process that could potentially reach the Supreme Court in the months ahead, was accompanied by a request from the Trump team to freeze deadlines in the case while the appeals court considers the matter. In quotes, the filing of President Trump's notice of appeal has deprived this court of jurisdiction over this case in its entirety pending resolution of the appeal, end quotes, Trump's lawyers wrote. In quotes, therefore, a stay of all further proceedings is mandatory and automatic. Next news. Hunter Biden was indicted on 9 tax charges in California on Thursday as a special counsel investigation into the business dealings of President Joe Biden's son intensifies against the backdrop of the looming 2024 election. The new charges, 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors, are in addition to federal firearms charges in Delaware alleging Hunter Biden broke laws against drug users having guns in 2018. They come after the implosion of a plea deal over the summer that would have spared him jail time, putting the case on track to a possible trial as his father campaigns for re-election. Hunter Biden, in quotes, spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his tax bills, end quotes, Special Counsel David Weiss said in a statement. The charges are centered on at least $1.4 million in taxes Hunter Biden owed during between 2016 and 2019, a period where he has acknowledged struggling with addiction. The back taxes have since been paid. Next news. It's down to two candidates in the race to lead the nation's fourth largest city. U.S. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee and State Senator John Whitmire will face off in Saturday's runoff election to be the next mayor of Houston. Whitmire and Jackson Lee, both Democrats, were the top two vote-getters in the November 7th general election, but neither candidate received the vote majority required to avoid a runoff. Whitmire led the 18-person field with 42% of the vote, while Jackson Lee placed second with 36%. The rest of the pack, including one write-in candidate, trailed far behind, with no other candidate breaking the 10% mark. The winner will replace term-limited Mayor Sylvester Turner, also a Democrat. In the final debates of the campaign held Sunday and Monday, both candidates discussed their plans to address some of the major challenges facing the city, including crime, infrastructure, affordable housing, and its budget. Jackson Lee also addressed a leaked audio recording purportedly of her berating staff members, saying she didn't recall the episode and praising her staff. Next news. Vladimir Putin, on Friday, moved to prolong his repressive and unyielding grip on Russia for at least another 6 years, announcing his candidacy in the presidential election next March that he's all but certain to win. Putin still commands wide support after nearly a quarter century in power, despite starting an immensely costly war in Ukraine that has taken thousands of his countrymen's lives, provoked repeated attacks inside Russia, including one on the Kremlin itself, and corroded its aura of invincibility. A short-lived rebellion in June by mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin raised widespread speculation that Putin could be losing his grip, but he emerged with no permanent scars. Prigozhin's death in a mysterious plane crash 2 months later reinforced the view that Putin was in absolute control. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Welcome to the world of Millennium News 24. We bring news, we analyze news, and we make a bridge between you and the eventful world. 24/7 Millennium News 24 team is at your service. Don't miss today's America, Editorial Today, and Global Democracy with host Tofader Noor. You also won't want to miss Todd Goldfinger show, Goldfinger Music Hour, Noon News with host Todd Goldfinger. And to stay connected with all top and trending news, don't even miss Millennium News Hour with host Tanziba Nouri. Millennium News 24 is available to be watched free for all LED TVs such as Sony.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global News Update in English. My name's Todd Goldfinger, and here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. Story number 6. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and several key cabinet ministers were grilled by opposition lawmakers in Parliament on Friday over a widening fundraising scandal and an alleged connection to the Unification Church, which threatened to further drag down the government's sagging popularity. Support ratings for Kishida's government have fallen below 30% because of public dissatisfaction over its slow response to rising prices and lagging salaries, and the scandal could weaken his grip on power within the governing Liberal Democratic Party. Still, the long-ruling party remains the voter favorite in media polls because of the fragmented and weak opposition. Next news. Prince Harry lost a preliminary round Friday in his libel case against the publisher of the Daily Mail tabloid over an article that said he tried to hide his efforts to retain publicity-funded protection in the UK after giving up his status as a working member of the royal family. A London judge said the Duke of Sussex failed to knock out Associated Newspaper Limited's defense that its article reflected an honest opinion. A hearing is scheduled Tuesday to discuss the consequences of the ruling. Justice Matthew Nicklin said in that ruling that, in quotes, "It is not fanciful that the defendant will be successful at trial," end quotes. He scheduled a hearing Tuesday in the High Court to discuss the consequences of the ruling. Next news. As United Nations climate talks enter their second week, negotiators who are largely focused on how to curb climate change have another thing on their plates: how to adapt to the warming that's already here. Discussions for what's known as the Global Goal on Adaptation, a commitment made in the 2015 Paris Agreement to ramp up the world's capacity to cope with climate-fueled extreme weather, are being overshadowed by negotiations on how the world is going to slash the use of fossil fuels, causing frustration among some climate campaigners in the most vulnerable countries. Officials and activists from climate-vulnerable nations are pushing for more money to help them deal with scorching temperatures, punishing droughts and deluges, and strengthening storms made worse by global warming. Major fossil fuel emitting countries need to pay vulnerable developing countries being battered by these events, experts say. Next news. Derek Chauvin was stabbed nearly 24 times in the law library at a federal prison in Arizona. Larry Nassar was knifed repeatedly in his cell at a federal penitentiary in Florida. The assaults of two notorious, high-profile federal prisoners by fellow inmates in recent months have renewed concerns about whether the chronically understaffed, crisis-plagued Federal Bureau of Prisons is capable of keeping people in its custody safe. In the shadow of gangster James Whitey Bulger's 2018 beating death at a West Virginia federal penitentiary and financier Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 suicide at a Manhattan federal jail while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges, the Bureau of Prisons is again under scrutiny for failing to protect high-profile prisoners from harm. Next news. The United Nations Climate Conference on Friday began its final week with negotiators expecting to zoom in on the future of fossil fuels on a dangerously warming planet. In quotes, "It's go time for governments at COP28 this week," end quotes, UN climate chief Simon Steele said at a press event Friday. Discussions after a first week of pageantry and official visits now become more difficult, particularly when it comes to language calling for the potential phase-out of the use of emission-spewing fossil fuels. Any language along those lines likely will draw the ire of Saudi Arabia, a major oil producer just next door to the United Arab Emirates. The UAE itself also is planning to boost its oil production from 4 million to 5 million barrels of crude oil a day to take advantage of the fossil fuel market before countries potentially shift away from its use. This has been the daily global English news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. My name is Todd Goldfinger. It's a pleasure to do the news for you. Please log in to all of the latest news on all of our social networking sites. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. On TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers, now on both network broadcasting, Android and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, also all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment, our latest news, views, and editorials. Our Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA Android, Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24/7. We thank you and God bless you wherever you are. Peace.